Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Roy of Dragonfly Wellness, and this is part 2 in a series that I'm offering this month called Meaningful May. So Meaningful May was inspired by my newsletter this month where I wrote about how we often have spiritual experiences when we're in nature. Somehow nature is the conduit, the gateway to allow us to have these experiences with our something bigger, whatever that is to you, however you describe that and define that in your life. So last week we talked about hiking in the woods, and this week we're going to talk about water. There are many ways that water manifests in nature and many ways that we all enjoy being part of that water in nature. So we have lakes, rivers, streams, we have the ocean, we have the Gulf. The Gulf of Mexico is very different from the ocean. You know, if you're in the center of the country and you're surrounded by land and your water is, trends toward rivers and lakes, then we can't always appreciate the subtle differences, right? The Gulf waters are warmer and calmer than the waters of the Atlantic on the other side of Florida. I'm on the Gulf Coast. And so there are lots of different ways that we interact with water. Some of us really enjoy being in the rain, you know. A lot of us avoid the rain, but the rain is very cleansing, very healing. And what's cool about any body of water, any kind of water that you experience in nature, that water has traveled literally the world over many times for millennia. This water has taken on different forms and been in different places. It's flowed, it's been frozen, it's existed as humid air, as steam in a geyser. It's in all of us as well, in our plants, in our animals. We need water. Water is the second most important thing that we need after air, right? We can only go mere minutes without air. And water, not so very long. We can go without food much longer than water. And we all know that from our plants too, right? They need to be watered. Some of them need less water. They're more efficient at storing their water, right? But water's part of us. It exists all the time. And water, as Swami Satchidananda likes to say, water is the most beautiful example of this, impermanence, right? Like we always, it always changes, right? It's changing its nature, it's changing its structure. And at the same time, it's the same, right? It's made of the same components. Just like we have, there's energy that gives us life, that animates us, that exists in everything until it doesn't, right? You have a vibrant plant that's thriving. When it doesn't get its needs met, it dies. But it doesn't exist as the plant anymore, but it breaks down into the soil and still exists in some different form. And water is a beautiful example of that. So wherever you like to connect with water, whether that's on a beach or a lake or a river, whether it's being in the rain, whether it's soaking in a bath, whatever kind of water you enjoy interacting with, whatever kind of water experience puts you in touch with, wow, this is really miraculous that this cup of water that I hold in my hands has traveled the world over in all these different forms. It's traveled from the Amazon all the way to me to have an experience right now. If we can stop and pause in notice, divine notice, witness consciousness of this amazing water that's so precious to all of us, be grateful for the water that we have and the wisdom of water, how it always chooses the path of least resistance and just continues to flow. Right? When it meets resistance, it goes around. And we can learn much from that. So in honor of however we celebrate water, however you celebrate water, and especially when you celebrate it in nature, please take a moment to give thanks for this miraculous thing that we have within us and all around us here in our beautiful earth. All right, everybody, that's your inspiration for this week. Meaningful May Part 2, and I'll be back again soon for more ways in which we can use nature as a mindfulness practice. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Namaste.